Welcome, welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. Come on in, come on in. We will start in 2 minutes. Welcome, welcome, come on in.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good morning, good afternoon, I don't know, good night, from wherever you are dialing in. So it's really great to see. And I see a familiar face. Paul, hi, Paul. How are you doing? It's been a while. Goodness, that's great to see you.
We have tons of people. It's a room today. We're admitting tons of people as we go. We're going to start in 1 minute. Actually, welcome everyone. We'll get started pretty soon.
Sidonia, you can make me co-host as well if you wish, so I can help you with admitting people when you start talking and do the welcome.
I did. So if you're
Did
not,
you?
yes, you are. Okay, yes.
Good, lovely. All
Okay.
right, good.
Perfect. Yes, we'll get started pretty soon. Thank you for joining. Sandra, I see you. Thank you for joining. Sandra is joining us from Nevada.
Hi, good. Hello, welcome, welcome. And all the ones who are just out of camera, maybe also good, when you feel okay, just put yourself on camera, slowly but surely. That would be nice to see faces. We always love to see faces.
Yes, feel free to turn your cameras on for sure. All right, we're still letting in people. So when I get a little bit of a break, we will kick off and get started. Give me
Absolutely.
All right. I'm excited for today. This is very, very, very interesting and important. It's great. Wonderful.
Caroline comes in. Beautiful. Love it.
All right.
Got our beautiful Lucia.
So,
No.
Julia, should I continue to admit or will you also?
I will be admitting now, so you shall be doing the welcoming whilst you talk, because people still getting in, right? So,
yes.
And it takes a while.
Yes. So if you're okay, we could just get started right now, just in essence of time.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right, I want to make sure that we are recording.
And whilst you are actually dialing in, the chat has started already. It would be great to see and hear from you, from where you're dialing in, a bit of your location would be nice to hear and see.
Yes, exactly. All right, so we're going to get started. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today is Meet Our President, and this is a president of OWIT. And this is a session that was highly anticipated. And I'm so glad that I am the one that's doing this today. I have the opportunity and the honor of doing this. This is a wonderful. Please let us know where you're joining us from, if you don't mind putting that in the chat so that our president could learn about or learn from you where you all are. My name is Sidonia Naismith, and I am a proud member of OWIT, the Organization of Women in International Trade. And it's my pleasure and honor to host this event today. To give you a bit about my background and myself, I am the CEO of Black Swan Consulting, Inc., and the founder of SWAN, the Strategic Women Alliance Network. I have deeply been involved with OWIT for 4 years, working closely as a member of the board. My past role on the executive committee was co-VP of programs for OWIT International, which is a key function that's positioned to help foster meaningful education, networking opportunities, and to drive our mission forward. Personally, my passion lies within women in business, helping them to uncover initiatives and business strategy and just business excellence and professional evolution. I am committed to helping our organization, OWIT, and its members to thrive in a global space. Now, let me share something about today, what the tone, and we'll set the stage for this wonderful talk. So today we have a unique opportunity to get to know our esteemed president, Julia Kurt. She is in her first year of the presidency as of 2024, with her extensive experience in leadership, diversity, and inclusion, and of course, her unwavering commitment to women in economic empowerment. I'm confident that today will be filled with insights, both from a inspirational level and also a professional level. I promise you that this will be somewhat enlightening to all of you. So with that said, please feel free to light up the chat, right? Make this an engaging discussion. Julia wants to hear from you. She wants to meet you. She wants you to get to know her, but also who's in the audience. This is something that she requested as a meeting format. This is not a webinar. So this is not something that we'll be talking heads and that's it. We want you to be engaged and to ask your questions. So you will be allowed to ask your questions during the Q&A session. But if something comes to you, if you're feeling something during our talk, please let it come through. Let it flow through to the chat and I'll get to it at some point. And if I don't, remind me, that's okay. We're okay in doing that today. So drop us an emoji, send us some hearts, some claps, some hugs, whatever you're feeling, however you're feeling from wherever you are. This is your moment, as it is Julia's. So now let me share a short overview of OWIT. And then I'll immediately introduce the president and we'll enter into our talk. So after which we'll follow up with the Q&A, where you'll be allowed to ask your questions. And also right now your mics are muted, just because people are coming in the room still. Later on, we'll unmute and you'll have an opportunity to open up your mic and ask, or you could type your question in the chat. So the purpose of today is to really get to know the woman behind this global organization, and you are a part of it. She loves this, she's open, she's ready to meet you. Before I dive into our conversation with her, let me give you a brief overview of OWIT, the Organization of Women in International Trade. OWIT is well, first let me launch a poll. I'm curious as to how many people are in the room and where are you from? Actually, let me go really quickly to my poll. Find the poll. And I'm going to launch the poll. Really simple question. If you're an OWIT member, we want to know who's in the room. If you're OWIT members, if we have OWIT members, non-members. So far, really good. We have about 79% participation. Looks like we have, so I'll give it about 15 more seconds. We still have people voting as they come in, which is great. We have 90%, and let me see, I'll end it just about now. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to share the results with you. The results. Okay, so I guess we have half of the room that's members and half that's non-members. All right. This one was specifically asking about chapters. I guess the question changed a little bit, but there's some members and some non-members. So I will go ahead and end that poll and get back to OWIT. All right, so for those of you who are non-members, I'm very happy and excited that you decided to join us today. That's wonderful. Hopefully you learn a little bit about the organization as you learn about the woman behind the organization, or the women behind the organization. So OWIT, the Organization of Women in International Trade, is a global network that is dedicated to advancing women's participation and success in international trade and business. Our mission is to foster international trade and the advancement of women in business by providing networking and educational opportunities. OWIT has a global presence with chapters in major cities around the world, creating a robust network of professionals who support and inspire each other. I believe OWIT has about 26 or so chapters globally. Maybe we can, the president will know, but last time I checked, it was about 26
Yes,
or so.
exactly.
Perfect. Over the years, OWIT has launched numerous initiatives aimed towards empowering women, promoting diversity and inclusion, and advocating for policies that support women in trade. Our president will have the opportunity to dive deeper into the organization and to share her vision with you today. So, without further ado, let us dive into our session, starting by getting to know the president. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished President, Julia Kurt. Julia has a remarkable background with over 32 years of experience in a multinational company where she led global transformation programs and founded a diversity and inclusion initiative. Julia has deeply been involved with OWIT for decades, serving in various leadership roles, including the president of Lake Geneva, and now, of course, the OWIT International. She is an author and a highly sought out coach and mentor and workshop facilitator who speaks English, Turkish, German, and has some French skills. She is equipped to motivate and to empower management teams and their employees to move them forward in their professional life. Julia is dedicated to empowering professionals and young adults alike. Her commitment to women's economic empowerment and creating a better world is truly inspiring. Our esteemed virtual audience, grab your coffee, your tea, your water, or maybe your wine from wherever you are. Just lean in and lean into this conversation. Please join me in welcoming Julia Kurt, our president. You are allowed to clap. You're allowed to send your emojis and your love. Julia, welcome.
Thank you.
Of
That
course.
was a remarkable introduction, Sidoni. Thank you.
Thank you. Well deserved. Of course, I had to make sure that, we roll out the carpet. It is my honor, truly, to have this conversation with you. And what's really nice is just to talk. It's a one-on-one talk facilitating that we're just getting to know you and we're getting to know OWIT within the process.
Yes.
So please do go ahead and share bit about your career journey and how you became involved in OWIT. We want to start from sort of the OWIT connection and then get into your career journey, and then we'll get into some other things. So please share a bit about your career journey and how you became involved with OWIT.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, career journey already mentioned, really started from bottom up as a secretary, honestly, as a sales secretary in Istanbul in a multinational company called Reuters. And from there, I moved up the ladders to become supervisor, business admin manager, implementation, project management, you name it. And in 2005, I landed in Geneva as an expat. Normally professions do land as an expert in Geneva. So, but since then I'm here. So it's about 19 years now, became Swiss. And how did I get involved in OWIT? That was years ago, and diversity inclusion was the hip word, in the corporate world. So every company was looking about, oh, suddenly diversity. Oh my God, are we going to break this glass ceiling? Do we have really an issue? So everyone started to raise awareness, and that was interesting, mind-blowing. And the same happened in our company. And as I did a research, I found out, of course, the CEOs, the executive managers, C-level, C-suite were all, interestingly enough, male, white, Anglo-Saxon, because it's Reuters, so UK-based, and men. And I thought, you know what, we need to do something here as well. So I started to raise awareness. started to create the diversity inclusion stream, and then OWIT came along. And that time we were not called OWIT Lake Geneva. We were called Geneva Women International Trade. So I thought, wonderful, cool, women's organization, empowerment, yes. And we didn't have so many women's organization that time. Now at the moment, we've got so many, plenty that you can choose from. And I found the president really cool, and also what they were doing. And I started, and I had a budget that I could invest and spend on diversity inclusion initiatives. So I started as a corporate sponsor, and from there onwards, I got involved as a volunteer, as a VP for events, then EVP, then VP for Lake Geneva in a row for 4 years. Then I moved to international, became the EVP under international. And now, as you can see, I'm the international president for Organization Women International Trade. So it's like a tribe that we have, a family which is growing rapidly because we believe in the cause. We've got that passion that already Sidonie mentioned about empowering women, economic empowerment, because trade is coming from the ancient times. We always had trade, and now we move it up, we scale it up, and we can do this with women having their voice raised as well at the table. So I might come to the 5 pillars later on, but this is how my journey navigated, combined with corporates and also diversity inclusion, flowing into OWIT. So this is where we are.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that. I know that there are women and men, just professionals in general. That's always sort of curious. How do people become presidents of organizations and all that? It sounds like just work your way up. Volunteer. A lot of times these roles are volunteer roles. Sometimes they might be paid depending on the type of organization, but very rare that they
Yes.
are. So it takes a level of commitment as well. Would you say that in order to volunteer?
Absolutely, because when you volunteer, and we have this all the time, we are a non-profit organization, a member organization, so we don't pay out anyone. Anyone who's raising their hand as a volunteer need to put some commitment time aside. It's not like you need to work 24/7, but minimum 2-3 hours per week is required. And when people are raising their hand to become volunteer, they don't realize that there is work involved. Yes, there is. And there is work involved as well from our side because we onboard you, right? So when you volunteer, definitely commitment. And if you're passionate enough and you believe in the cause, absolutely, absolutely, you need to follow up. And you need to be starting low. Like a career, it's the same. To get to know first the organization, how the dynamics works, where we are, what are we doing, which events are organized, programming, and all this kind of ecosystem of a volunteer organization. Once you know, then it's easier for you to navigate. It's boiling down to trust, because when we first onboard someone, and I onboard many at the moment, we have got really a youth influx of volunteers who want to really participate and be part of the women's economic empowerment initiatives that we run all the time. We first test because people drop off. It's normal. There is no kind of money involved, and we request from you time aside. I would then say, oh, what about the meeting minutes of the executive board meeting? Or who's going to typing them up? There's a lot of admin work involved, marketing things involved, and even to pull this webinar or this Zoom meeting. I mean, I know Sidonie put in, I don't know how many hours to get this flowing. Nothing is easy. From nothing comes nothing. That's my saying. From nothing comes nothing. Volunteer, yes, but if you don't invest, you will not learn. If you don't want to invest, then we don't promote. But if we see the passion, we are supporting, we are embracing. Again, this is for volunteers who want to be actively involved in OWIT. Though the members, it's a different story, because members do expect us to deliver and support them as well. And this is what we are and who we are about.
Awesome. So that leads me into my next question. And I do see that at least one person's hand is up. We'll be taking questions a little bit later. We're going to keep it flowing. But if you do have something, you can send either myself, you can send myself an email, a message directly, or you can add your question in the chat and we'll get to it. And again, like if something is reaching you and you want to ask, put it in the chat. I will get to it. Thank you so much. All right. So, Julia, question about OWIT. Please do tell us in your own words, in your eyes, tell us about OWIT today. Tell us about the pillars or the key pillars, your vision for the OWIT future.
Thank you. Well, in my terms, because I know OWIT since a while, it is a global membership organization for women and for men. Yeah? So we need sponsors, we need our allies, we need to have men on board as well. Though the focus is to support, empower, or raise awareness amongst the women that they can do it as well. And it's reaching, and we've got a niche here, it's for international trade. It's not only local trade. We're talking about international trade. We want that our women, the traders, the business women, do spark, flow, and shine, and that they have a global outreach. And this is what OWIT is designed for, to promote the advancements of women in trade and business. So it's not, we want, because we know it's an overall thing, right? So we want to encompass everything. It's the trade and the business aspect. And if we say trade, it shall be not understood it's only goods, garments, attire, or whatever. It's like me and also Sidoni, right? Services as well is included in that, because we are trading our services globally. To the US, we do business with the UK, we do business with Africa. We are providing and sharing our knowledge, consultancy, and coaching towards as well global, global world's landscape. So it's not only goods, it's also services. And we really act as a springboard. This is what I've said, like a bridge, springboard for many women-owned businesses. And we facilitate that vital access to international networks, because we are working with lots of, we collaborate with lots of international organizations like WTO, World Trade Organization, We Connect, UN Women, International Trade Center, UNCTAD, and many more. And we are really actively participating and collaborating with them, because we believe, and that's one of the pillars which I'm going to touch base on, we believe from union comes strength. And we are in a unique position to bring our voices, the voices of the women traders, into global conversations, in national ones, but also local ones, because we know, and that is how we are set up as well. Maybe that's worth to mention at this point. Our headquarters was created in 1989 in Washington, and normally catering for US. So it was more US centric, obviously. Then it spilled out to Canada and Latin America, and OWIT Lake Geneva was the one and only Europe chapter for a long time. We were founded in 2000, actually. And for that, we started to actually outreach and expand even further, specifically after the African Free Trade Agreement. And our former president, Frida, who is from Kenya, had, of course, lots of influence there. So at the moment, we are very heavily involved in expanding in Africa and also in Latin America, but also in Europe now, because we added to our Europe chapters UK and Brussels, which is great. So this is how we are expanding even further. And my vision is to be global, to add Southeast Asia, Asia itself, Middle East. And we know for a fact that women there need as well support, a network, a tribe, where they can get all the information. And this is what I want. We focus on professional development, capacity building, mentoring, sharing of information, the destination for women traders to find the information they need to do trade in a successful manner. By what? tailored training sessions, collaborations, and sponsors. Of course, this is what we need, and this is our aim. It's really about entrepreneurship. And when we come to our 5 pillars, and we just came back from our retreat from Brussels, where all the executive board meeting, well, half of it was present there, the rest hybrid, because we use technology, obviously. The pillars that we see for 2024 and 2025 are the following. The first one, it's about gender trade advocacy. I believe strongly that we need to have our voices as women on any trade policy raised by gender research, by providing suggestions, by being an advisory board, where the policy is impacting women in trade. Very important. Secondly, empowering the ecosystem. So acting as an enabler for women in trade in the entrepreneurial landscape. Access to knowledge. Absolutely, because we don't have that all the time. And each local chapter has their own challenges, right? That might be lack of finance, lack of how to create a business plan, signposting, what is missing, how can we fill the gap? Collaborating with already programs in place by ITC, UN Women, to upscale our women even more so, and also acting as a role model buddy system with the women who are successful, with the women who need to learn. This is where the mentoring comes in, right? So it's about learning, mentorship, coaching. And for that, our network support ecosystem is perfect, because all our members do have lots of talents, lots of knowledge. And this is what we want to tap into. So creating a community where when we need a speaker, we don't go elsewhere. We tap into our talents. When we need to have some information, we know who can help us out. And this is the beauty. This is the power and magic of working together. And moreover, of course, alone, and again, from union comes strengths. It's not possible. Powerful and impactful collaborations amongst all these associations and organizations I mentioned already, but more so as well in the private sector. So private, public, and academia, because business schools and universities do have the youth. And how I see OWIT growing is having a succession plan, having the youth, the young generation, Generation Z, Y, whatever you call it now at the moment, right? Have it included, have them engaged, because this is how we can grow even further and have an impact. I talked a lot, right? So that's it.
It was wonderful. I think this is my first time hearing the history of OWIT, other than, reading it and all that. So it was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to ask about membership. So say someone was on here and they're interested, because it sounds great, right? One thing about OWIT is the access, obviously, to the talent and the networking. Also, what I really love is the retreat that you just mentioned, is that's open to any member, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Any member. We are completely inclusive.
Right. So you don't have to be a board member or have to be on the executive committee to attend. You could have gone to Brussels,
Yeah.
The year before, where was it? It was,
Hey, we were in Washington. We were in Washington.
and was it in Lake Geneva at one point as well, or
It
France?
was
Yeah,
because of the WTO Public Forum. Absolutely. So
exactly.
any members can join our retreats, can join our initiatives. We are completely inclusive. So that gives another outreach, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you. And in terms of the structure, where the different chapters are, what opportunities do we have for people that are interested in joining this network? So let's say a chapter is, sort of close to them or not close to them. Do they have an option to join regardless?
Well, we say this as like an individual member. You can certainly join OWIT family. You don't need to be, or if you're looking for, let's face it, let's rephrase it. If you're based in a country and in a town where There is no OWIT chapter. You can join as an individual member for a year, and you have access to all the webinars and all the meetings that we organize for free. For non-members, from time to time we charge. And if you can travel, travel to the nearest OWIT chapter to get to know them and even collaborate, do networking. But at the same time, it's not only about having a network. What we want is also business, right? We are all business owners, entrepreneurs, women business owners. So if we see where we can collaborate amongst all the members that we have, feel free to do so. What we try to do as well this year, maybe not in a huge scale, a trade mission. We always had trade missions in the past between Canada and Mexico. That was happening all the time. I wanted to organize a trade mission to Istanbul, for example, taking the African chapters along, and then pandemic hit. So this is also another empowerment and facilitation of trade and meeting powerful organizations locally, meeting with ambassadors, with embassies, with American Chamber of Commerce, because we have as well a partnership with US Trade of Commerce. So this is also really powerful. For example, anyone who wants to make any business with US, absolutely. There are lots of contacts that we can provide. So this is the beauty of the whole membership, right? So you can be individual member from wherever you are located. No constraints.
Awesome. Awesome. Had to get that out there just in case. People are always asking. So I think the best way to connect is to visit our website, and that is owit.org. Very easy, OWIT.org. So now I would love to get into a little bit more personal with the president. We just took care of business, of course. We learned about OWIT and organization, but now is when we learn about the woman behind the organization. And I know this is what we've been waiting for, right? So let's start off with, who do you attribute your success to? Is there a person that you attribute your success to?
Well, there are many people, of course, who are sponsoring and supporting you. Without that, it's not easy. Specifically also in the career. Honestly, to come to Geneva, it was my manager who highlighted that the organization is changing, and you have been growing up in Germany, and your husband as well is really acquainted with outside Turkish world. Why don't you apply for being a leader in Geneva? So I was like, I was never thinking about that. And I was like, well, you know what? I think he's got a point. So maybe I should. And that time it was really easy. Dropped a note to the manager over there, and she got completely, what? You want to, your online, your mobile, you want to move with family? Can you see? So again, another lessons learned, I would say, raise your voice. No one knows what goes in your head. It's all assumptions. So I do lots of YouTube videos as well, right? So don't fall into assumptions, raise your voice. I just did one about trust, etc. This is another nugget. For women, men are more risky. They take risks. We don't. We think too much. We overthink. And as she told me, I didn't know that you want to move. I thought, yes, I can move. Great. And this is how I landed in Geneva. And then in other ways as well, where also I had a good, trustworthy, creditworthy track record, right? That I was always proposed and sponsored as well into different projects, and that helped. However, once I was made redundant, there was no one who told me that I shall create my own company. It was me alone. Everyone was expecting, hey, you know what? I mean, you're coming from a multinational company. Of course, you're going to apply and work for any other new one. No, nope. I decided not at all. I will work with companies, but not for companies. And that's what I'm doing. So I created my own company. But with that, again, I also tapped into knowledge which I know, or follow role models, ask them how they did it. Because you know what? We need to have that. We are so much in our own business that we have blind spots. And asking is humble, is great. You learn. So don't feel ashamed. And that's what we always do, right? I created my own business. I need to run it. No, you don't need to run it. Be open. Ask questions. How do you do this the best? Ah, shall I actually use that? How do you start? You know, all these questions when you're a women entrepreneur, when you start. And that's what I realized as well with lots of women entrepreneurs, what they're lacking on how to start with social media. And I had the same. I was a fish out of the bowl. I was like, what do I need to do now? I was leader, manager, you give instructions, right? I mean, marketing team, can you create this and do that and that? And suddenly you need to do your own marketing. I was like, oh, interesting. So how do we do this? So this was a huge, steep learning curve, but you learn. You can learn anything you want. Our mind is the only one who creates that little prison inside that we can't do it. You can. I didn't have Instagram. And now I've got from in 2 years or so, 2 years or something, 7,000 now followers.
Wow.
And I don't do promotion, by the way. I don't do ads, nothing. It's organic growth. And this is what you can do as well. And you can post and you can learn this. In the beginning, it's really difficult. I know it takes ages to get one post out. It's the same with me, you know, just as an example, but you will learn. And creating my own business was my own, you know, will and my own desire and passion. And thanks God I did it. I'm not going back to the corporate world. I love the corporates to bits. I love the professionals. I love to help them. I love to assist them. But other than that, no. That's a bit about, you know, how you navigate around.
Wonderful. That's good. Thank you for sharing that with me. I can imagine that that came with some challenges. So you had to have something that motivates you to push through these challenges. Is there anything that you lean on or lean towards when you're going through this tough time, so to speak, or these challenges? I can imagine it still happens in every
Oh,
stage
yeah.
or every phase, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It happens all the time. You know, you're not always motivated yourself. But when I think about the humans whom I touch and I can see that there is an impact, it is really rewarding. And I love that. I love as well to have flexibility to create my own programs, mix and mingle, have my own ideas together with my interns, together with my team as well, obviously, who's sometimes guiding me. Oh, yeah, no, no, no. We shall do this differently. Absolutely fine. And that motivates me, right? In the beginning. And I think if we summarize it into one word, it's the passion for life, which motivates me.
Awesome. So with that said, tell us about your book.
Oh, yeah. You know, I can switch actually my background. So let's do that. Let's switch a bit, you know, the scene. Oop.
Your book is called Break Free. Break Free.
Absolutely. Here you go. Break free from your hamster wheel. This is it. Where is it? Here. So this is my book, and maybe people, because it's now, here we go.
Yes.
Um, this is again the desire to share my knowledge and my experience and my career journey with the professionals out there who feel frustrated. Because I know for a fact, coming from a strong corporate background, and I did interviews as well, that professionals do suffer a lot. They start with enthusiasm. It's really great. Sometimes you slide into a career. You don't even think, right? You finish immediately uni. You have got a wonderful internship. They love you. You start working there full time. And suddenly, after 5 or 10 years, you think, oh God, is that what I really wanted? I don't feel resonate. It doesn't resonate with me anymore. It doesn't align with my values. Maybe the management has changed. Maybe you have got a toxic manager. Maybe it's too much workload. Maybe you're almost at burnout, or your teammates are not good, or you don't like it anymore. It's not what you want to do exactly. And then we continue still in this wonderful hamster wheel, and we don't dare to break out. And this is where I wanted to give some tools, tips, and tricks in my book as well, how to break free, because that's important. Because life is too short to live an unfulfilled life.
Yeah.
And when I say life, I see it converging, personal and professional. And I think That's the beauty. It goes together, it melts. And for that reason, if you really feel like that, if it doesn't meet your values anymore, it does really frustrate you. When you're in the morning and you don't want to get up, you always call in sick or whatever it is, which is just bothering you, take action. And that's where the desire came actually to write this book. And firstly, you know what, Sidonie? I mean, I thought, no, I don't like writing. No, I'm not going to write. But then I wrote a book. I wrote the second book as well. And I'm continuously writing blogs and everything. So it's an interesting thing. You get used to it. It's addictive, I guess.
Awesome. So you have another book. What is
Yeah.
that one called?
Well, it's co-authored with another friend, and it's about, again, professional, the resilient professional. And we are talking about anxiety, how to overcome fears, leaders, how to maneuver in the minefield of corporates with taking care of yourself, well-being, but also empathy, also leading your employees in a correct and really impactful way, because it's not easy anymore, specifically with everything which comes across and towards us with AI, you know that, with artificial intelligence, anxiety comes, will AI take away my job? What's the future of it, etc. So I do lots of research, I read, I attend webinars. It's mind-blowing, it's interesting. And I think that's something that we need to think about as well when we are progressing in our career, how use yourself, place and position yourself in the company at the moment and see where it's heading, trends. I always have to say, work smart, not hard. Hard working, no, smart working. 80% is fine, 20% see what's going on in the industry, participate, do networking. The number one success business rule, which is not outspoken, networking everywhere, even in circles where you think, what am I going to do there? You never know. You meet someone who knows someone, or you get inspired by something, or you learn something new.
Awesome. Amazing. Love it. All right. So we have some rapid round fire questions, and this is that type questions. These are quick. You just answer one word or one phrase so that we get through them. We understand. You select one, and then we go to the next section. So let's start with this or that. Let's play this game. You ready?
Yes,
Leadership or management?
leadership,
Early bird or night owl?
early bird,
Virtual meetings or in person?
in person,
Strategic plan or day-to-day operations?
strategic planning.
All right. Rapid round fire questions. Here we go. Your favorite book?
From Simon Sinek, The Infinite Game.
One word to describe you.
Passion.
Your go-to productivity hack.
Dancing.
Ooh. And not only dancing, belly dancing, right?
Belly dancing, absolutely.
Awesome. A place you want to visit next.
Japan.
One piece of advice you would give your younger self.
Take action.
And what will your older self thank you for?
That I took the leap of faith to create the company.
Awesome. Let's go through some scenarios. One hypothetical one. If you were to have dinner with any leader in the world, past or present, who would that be and why? This could be a longer answer, by the way.
Okay, thank you. So Michelle Obama, because I like her nonchalance, elegancy, but also taking everything a bit, fun and sharing openly. I think I love that at her. So I would love to have dinner with Michelle Obama.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. In 1 minute or less, can you tell us a vision for yourself as well as OWIT together?
Combination. All right. For myself, I love speaking on stage. So I would say jetting around the globe and having speaker engagements and gigs where even I earn more money and I fulfill my dream of being a globetrotter. And in terms of and raising the voice of women, combined with OWIT, raising the women's voice at the table.
Awesome. We're going to go through some word associations and then we're going to start taking questions. I'm assuming that some people from the audience will are asking questions. Now would be your time right after this. So let's do word association. I'm going to say a word and I want you to come back with the first thing that comes to mind. And this has to do with trade. First, we have to talk a little bit about trade, right? We're international, we're women in trade.
Absolutely.
So the word is future. First thing that comes to mind when you hear
growth,
AI,
possibilities,
mentorship,
support,
advocacy,
raising your voice,
networking,
collaboration.
Awesome. Thank you. Before we get into questions, one last thing I would like you to do. What advice would you give to a little girl that's in elementary school that has a dream that's so big that not even for herself she could really see it, but she says it? As children, we just say things and then sometimes we're blown away by how either accurate or narrow it is once we see that little girl or little boy. What advice would you give that little girl that has dreams that are so big?
Yeah. Never give up on your dreams. You can do it.
Okay, awesome. Now I'm going to open it up to questions. Right now, participants, your mics are muted. I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself if you have questions. I would say raise your hand and let me know. I know, Caroline, you had a question before. If you would like to ask your question now, that would be great.
Sure. I think it's quite commendable that OWIT is completely run by volunteers. I think that's quite amazing, especially for a global organization. And I just wanted to ask you, there must be some real benefits to that and some real challenges. And I wonder if you can share what those benefits and challenges are being fully volunteer-based versus having a core staff.
Well, the challenges obviously is the turnaround that we have in terms of volunteers, also sometimes executive boards. Why? Because the priorities shift, right? It's normal, Caroline. I mean, we can't force people to say you need to do this because they are not remunerated. And we understand. Again, the passion runs here, and that's where we need to be very careful. Opportunities is that we have such a great, diverse, inclusive, and talented membership volunteer base. It's really mind-blowing. Everyone is coming from a different background, and this is enriching our outreach, is enriching our knowledge, and also what every member is contributing towards the success of the organization. So I think it goes hand in hand. It is what it is. We already learned how to maneuver with all the volunteers who sometimes can't do it anymore, want to change, or just step down. Absolutely fine. At the same time, opening doors for new volunteers to come in and experience our family.
Awesome. I hope that was good. Great. Does anyone else have questions? I'm going to scan the chat just to see. Anyone else?
By the way, FIT is also one of our partners as well. And we are trying to get, I think, with Natalie, another webinar on the ground. They're running it, so really looking forward, and we're really proud and happy that we partnered with you.
We are proud and happy too, Julia. Very much so.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Hello, this is Lucia.
Okay.
Lucia,
Hi, we can hear you, Lucia. Go ahead. Welcome.
thank you so much, our President Huria, for all the information you have given us. Even me, although I'm one of the OWIT member, but I have also learned a lot. Thank you so much, Sidoni. Sidoni, thank you so much. You have learned a lot. And I have in this meeting about 4 or 5 members from OWIT Uganda. They have participated in this meeting. I think they have also learned a lot. And so when you go, we sit together, we should also try to pass that information to our fellow members. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucy. I appreciate that. Wonderful, lovely, awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lucia. That's the goal. Whether or not you're an OWIT member, the goal is to always learn something, to always network, to always learn about the members and the possibilities and opportunities. Julia mentioned sponsor. You could be a small business sponsor. You don't have to be a larger company to actually sponsor. And then there's some benefits as well to sponsorship and sponsoring a for the term that that you would be in. Also, you get opportunities, like she said, to network with other OWIT chapters. I've seen some amazing things that has come out of collaboration just through. I just saw someone posted in the Orange County chapter. They've done amazing things with other OWIT regions that are in the regions. So Julia, do you mind talking a little bit about any collaboration you've seen that's just flourished?
No, at the moment as we speak, over at Brussels, the president, Jennifer Morricone, she's in traceable jams, precious metals, and she's really fond of it. She created a webinar series with African chapters like Nigeria, and I think it might be Uganda as well later on, and with other chapters. And each month there will be a different webinar, really about the women's role in precious gems and metals. And this is really, again, shows and demonstrates the power behind being part of OWIT, having these different industries, tapping into the industries which are male dominated. And that's, again, was born and together with all the different chapters that we have around the world, created together. You can't do anything alone. You need to always have collaboration. And this is the power of our organization. Moreover, as we speak, SME sponsor-wise, yes, if you are a small, medium-sized sponsor, I'm waiting for my own, that I pay and do that, because then you will be featured on our OWIT website, obviously. Vice versa, you will be showing on your website that you are supporting OWIT. So we've got a nice logo there. So some benefits about being sponsor of from a small, medium-sized business. And we're going to celebrate as well on the 27th of June, our small, medium-sized, day, global day, with some call outs to small, medium-sized businesses to actually showcase what they bring to the table. And that's going to be an application process. Stay tuned for the ones who receive OWIT newsletters. This will be announced shortly. And follow us, like us, subscribe to us, so then you are always informed of the latest what's going on.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to go ahead and just drop the website and the primary email that if you need anything, I think this is a good email to reach out to admin@owit.org and the website. Also, Julia, if you don't mind sharing your LinkedIn, it's up to you. Your LinkedIn profile.
No, absolutely.
If would love to connect with you. Sometimes reach out. Yeah. Sure. Sometimes people would want to reach out to send you a message or a request or something. I know that you have a policy where you have an open door policy, basically. So yes. I love that, and I welcome you to do that. And your company's name is InKick as well. I forgot to mention that. So good. One last question. Do we have any board positions or anything open right now within the organization that might be of interest to, just in case someone is interested or so? or is there opportunity, no interest?
Well, at the moment, not necessarily, but if you're interested to become a volunteer, open a chapter, or whatever it is around OWIT, send an email to admin at OWIT.org, right? And we will definitely assign and delegate it to the correct chapter lead, to the correct executive board, because there's always opportunities coming up, right? And if we have the application, then it's easier for us as well to choose from.
Awesome. Thank you. Now we're going to go to closing remarks. Do you have any closing remarks, Madam President, before I close out the meeting at the top of the hour?
Thank you so much. I mean, firstly, thank you so much for your precious time, because I know this is super, super valuable. Our time when spent is not coming back. And I'm so happy to have seen so many people. People started to drop off as well, and this is understandable. Thank you so much for the ones that I can see on the screen. And what else shall we say? We shall grow together, right? And that's the beauty of it. Growing together, empowering each other, supporting each other. From union comes strength. And take life as a dance. Sometimes as a foxtrot, sometimes as a rock and roll.
Awesome. That sounds really good. Awesome. All right. I'm going to close it out by saying thank you so much, Julia, for just your openness. When I reached out to you to have this session, you said, of course, let's pick a date and let's make it happen. You know, just out of, curiosity, I wanted to just sort of put this together so that other members who were not, in whether a meeting or so to get to know you on levels where they're a member of the board or a member of, an executive committee, just a member or someone that's interested in the organization. This would have been an opportunity for them to get to know you, the woman behind the organization. And I hope today that we've accomplished that. I certainly have learned a lot from you, from just talking to you. You're inspiring. I love your energy. It's a pleasure to serve, under your presidency, and I look forward to so much more to come. You have so much goals and vision for this organization, and I'm just so excited for it. For everyone else, if you, like I said, if you are interested, please do join us at owit.org to learn more about the organization. The website is going to undergo some minor changes here and there. So, but because I know that I saw someone saying that they were trying to log into the member space. I think they're working in the back end to make it a bigger and better website. But until then, you can reach out to admin at owit.org if you have any specific questions regarding pretty much anything. But if no one else has any more questions, I'm going to close out the meeting. I'm very happy to see that you all stayed. That's a good thing, a very good sign. I'll return the rest of your day back to you. But again, thank you so much. My name is Sidoni Naismith, and it has been a pleasure to serve. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to her for everyone. Bye.
I'm going to stay on a little bit after everyone drops off.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thanks for the call. Good night from this side.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. This is Florence. Alexine, bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Please, I want to join the
organization.
Yeah, I want to join. So I don't know if you can send the details to my mail. How do I join?
Can you provide your email in the chat and we could have someone from the admin team follow up with you?
Okay. I'm into shea butter, coconut oil, processing and packaging.
Do you mind sharing your email address where someone could reach out to you directly? If you would like, you could send it to me directly or to the president directly.
I think the connection just got a bit.
Okay, I think that I see the person's name. I will double check.
All right.
Alyssa. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Bye. Edison again came in, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm gonna close this out, but it would be nice for me to reconnect with you. So I'm gonna
All
send
right.
a message, okay?
Okay, that's better.
Yeah,
And
wonderful.
I'm invited for dinner, so I need to go anyways.
Yes, okay, bye-bye.
Thank you so much. It was
Wonderful.
really great. Thank
Yes,
you.
I think
Thank
so
you.
too.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.